you guys might want to close the door.
There you are. You're a bit later than expected. We were beginning to wonder what had happened to you. You arrived just in the nick of time. There's a snowstorm expected tomorrow.
Oh, Uncle Joe, you look just like I remember you. You haven't changed a bit.
As charming as your salutation has been, I must inform you that I am not your Uncle Joe, merely his humble butler, Dithers. Your much-loved uncle will be joining us shortly. In the meantime, may I show you to your quarters?
Okay, I think I've got it today.
Miss Fonda.
Please, call me Sarah.
As you will. Sarah, your uncle gave me the impression that it would only be you joining us.
Oh, how silly.
As delighted as I am by this unexpected company. May I inquire who it is that you brought with you?
Oh, how silly of me. This is my boyfriend, Sam. Did I forget to mention he was coming with me? I'm dreadfully sorry.
It's probably my fault more than Sarah's. When she got invited by Joe, I couldn't help but mention how much I wanted him to England. She insisted I come with her. I said it was a crazy idea, but
I insisted he come along. After all, Sam's back with his family and Uncle Joe's family. So really, we're all one big happy family.
I hope it's not too much of a bother, Mr. Dillard.
Bother? No bother at all. I shall simply have to make some additional preparations. Mrs. Danvers.
Yes, Mr. Dithers?
We have one additional guest from those anticipated. Would you be so kind as to prepare the double room in the north wing?
Of course, Mr. Dithers.
In the meantime, is there anything I can do for you? Shine your socks, perhaps?
Oh, we've been traveling a long time. I think we just like to hit the head.
As you will.
Each of your rooms is equipped with a whistle. Please do not hesitate to toot if you need anything, and I or Mr. Dithers will be with you as soon as possible.
Lily! Is that... Oh, hello there. Sorry if I startled you. I was beginning to fall asleep out here. You must be my great niece, Sarah Sponder.
That's me.
I'm Joe Paderewski. I'm sorry I wasn't there to greet you at the door. I was just getting a little gardening done. Though with this storm moving in, I doubt it'll do much good. Say, that reminds me. How are the mud pies doing today? Looks like they haven't been pruned in a while. Perhaps they'd do better if they were moved into the shade with the ice vines. I hope you don't find this place morbid. It's the family mausoleum. It won't be long now before I'm spending all my time here. So I think it can't hurt to get to know the place a little first.
hello, Mr. Paderewski. The name's around Sam.
What kind of name is that?
No, Sam around Sam. As in first name Sam, last name around Sam. You know what? Just call him Sam.
Well, you can both call me Uncle Joe. Any member of Sarah's family is a member of my family.
Did you cold, Uncle Joe?
Oh, cold's never bothered me. I'm part Eskimo.
Who are all these statues?
This is all that's left of my family line. My grandmother, Joan Paderewski. My father, Jacob Paderewski. And my dear wife, Lily.
You were married?
It was a long time ago now. Lily meant the world to me, but our marriage was a sham. She was not the person I thought she was. I've never been able to understand why, but she slowly lost her head until she could barely remember her own name. My groundskeeper found her one morning, drowned in the lake below the grave. gets a little lonely. All these empty rooms, just watching the hours tick by.
I can see why you talk to them. They're so lifelike. Just look at the way their eyes seem to follow you around.
I thought paintings were supposed to do that, not statues.
You can't find craftsmanship like that anymore. Storm's moving in quickly. We should head back inside before it hits.
Thank God that night's finally over. I thought it would never end.
That old man's simply off his rocker.
Hey, how dare you speak that way about my beloved Uncle Joe?
And you still have no idea how he found you?
No clue at all. I've never met the old man in his life. Must be crazy.
But he thought he knew you.
Yeah, from 20 years ago, when I was a little kid. I'm sure I could have passed as real Gertie's back then, whoever she is.
Do you still have the letter?
Of course. My dear great niece, Sarah Swander, I know that it's been many long years since we last met, but I hope you haven't forgotten me. I certainly haven't forgotten you. As you know, I never had any children, so the question of who I should bequeath my estate to is going to vex me in my later years.
I still can't believe it. Sarah, you must be the luckiest woman alive. Some doddering English old fool has mistaken you for his only living heir. What are the chances?
Correction, some daughter rich English fool. I mean, look at this place. It's practically a castle.
So we spend the week buttering up the old man, and when he finally pops his clogs, we'll be rich.
Excuse me?
Sorry, you'll be rich.
That's right. I'm the beloved great niece, not you. You're just the great niece's boyfriend.
I could, be more than your boyfriend, if you wanted.
I told you, Sam, I'm not ready to put a ring on it. Besides, we had a very narrow skeep in America, remember?
How could I forget? I thought we'd never get past the airport security. I was sure they would have a warrant out for our arrest already.
Well, they didn't, but they probably do by now. Let's face it, Sam, we can't set foot in the States for a long time. Perhaps forever.
I know, Sarah. I'm starting to miss it already, but you're right. It's not safe for us there anymore. Not after what we did.
Did you hear that?
No,
I swear, there was knocking.
I didn't hear it.
You heard that, right, Sammy?
Yes.
Come in. I said come in. Sammy, answer the door.
Why can't you do it?
Because. Just answer it.
Fine. There's no one there.
But there was.
You there! Are you the local peacekeeping authority?
Things were a lot more peaceful before you showed up.
Show us your badge and your gun.
I'm afraid we don't carry guns not here in Little Salisbury. We don't carry guns. I'm a policeman on. Police Constable Robert Constable at your service. But you can call me Bob the Bobby. Well, Bob the Bobby, if you don't carry guns, will you shoot me? We've got these truncheons. Pretty painful if you know how to use one.
Enough of this. My name is Agent Cramer, and this is my associate Agent Cleverly, FBI. We have reason to believe that this town is currently harboring a gang of dangerous criminals.
Really? Little Salisbury?
Our intelligence is unmistakable.
Well, I'm sure a man who wears sunglasses indoors knows what he's talking about. But between you and me, nobody's in Little Salisbury. We haven't had a single crime since the station apple pie went missing. But I had no choice but to interrogate every police officer in the station. But neither of them confessed. never solved. And to this day, haunted by what might have been.
What? It's happening again.
Boss, don't let that case stuck you back in the past again.
Police constable, Robert Constable, has suffered from flashbacks ever since the unsolved apple pie case. You can't go talking about apple pies, eating apple pies, or even saying the phrase apple pie in his presence without triggering some very painful traumas.
It's okay, Bobby Bob. You're safe now. You're with us.
Okay.
This is not the case of, this is a case of international security.
Ever heard of the criminal slayer?
No.
Exactly. Why would you? Nobody's heard of the criminal slayers. That's precisely what makes them so dangerous.
They're a pair of corners, constable, the most successful and dangerous corners the world has ever seen.
Some say that they swindled over $6 million from their innocent victims. They never left a trace.
Our intelligence points have led us to them being pulled up somewhere near here. Here? That's right. Here. Are you sure?
Sure enough, that the FBI's two finest agents were immediately dispatched here to investigate personally. But it turns out they were both on vacation. So they sent us instead.
Have you seen any suspicious characters recently? People out at odd hours, maybe? I'm telling you, nothing of that sort happens in a little stop already.
The only suspicious character around here is that Joe Paderewski.
Rob, these men don't want to hear about Joe Paderewski. Mr. Paderewski is nothing but an old eccentric who lives in the outskirts of town. He can't possibly have anything to do with this case. If you're looking for other leads, it actually did come in town just yesterday with two Americans inside.
So it did. I remember now. They stopped off at the village shop just the other day to pick up some supplies.
Yes, and one of them said, we have to buy as much as we can carry. We can't show our faces in this village often.
Then the other replied, even in this sleepy village, there's no way the FBI tracks all the way here.
That's right. And then the first one said, could you shut your pie holes while we're outside? Anyone could be listening. There's two coppers standing right there.
And after that, they both looked embarrassed and hurried away to guard their things.
Oh, I see. And when were the two of you planning on reporting this interesting conversation to me? You look so peaceful sleeping there.
You look like an angel.
That's not important right now. What matters is that we're right. The criminal players really are here. Constable, you're a credit to the police force and your plucky little nation.
The snow appears to have fallen quite heavily last night, Mr. Paderewski.
Yes, I haven't seen snow like this since I was a little boy.
Oh, good morning. Or should that be good evening?
Sorry guys, I'm just a little jet lagged.
It was a long flight now, wasn't it? America to Britain, I mean, that was fairly long.
Who are these other guests that you have?
Other guests? You mean this bunch? Yes, they managed to get here on time. In fact, you were the last to arrive. But let's not wait a moment longer. Tuck in, everyone.
The I can reheat last night's noodle soup if you prefer.
No, I'm sure this will be delicious.
Sorry, it's just whenever I go traveling, I like to take pictures of my food. Does anyone else have an Instagram? No? Hashtag get with it.
I do apologize, Miss Fuller, but that seat is reserved for the lady of the house.
The lady of the house.
Good morning, Snuggle Munchkin.
Good morning, Belle.
How's my favorite pooply bear doing today?
Fine. Good morning.
Oh, but goodness, this table is full today. Full of these charming guests.
Miss Liberty Bell, may I present Joe's great niece, Sarah Sponder, and her, man friend, Sam Ransom. They arrived last night. Also newly arrived are the Countess Knopf, Dot McGraw, and Carla Lovelace.
Enchanté, y'all. So, Countess, how was your flight from? Where was it you flew from?
Barcelona, the flight was satisfactory.
How about you, Darby?
I didn't fly, I came by boat. The salty here does wonders for my health.
Oh, are you on a brine diet? Because it's like totally trendy right now.
As for you, Sarah, your uncle has told me so much about you. I feel like I know you already. I know your uncle and I haven't tied the knot yet, but I just want you to know you already feel like the great niece I never had.
Everybody, this is my fiance.
Liberty Bell. Fiance?
We met 2 months ago at an art exhibition in London. What can I say? I couldn't help but notice her.
It was love at first sight, wasn't it, Dingleberry?
It certainly was. It just goes to show.
That even when you give up on love, love doesn't give up on you.
When my darling Lily was taken from me, I thought I'd never be able to love again. I thought I'd die alone, with nothing to comfort me but my fortune. But now look at me, in love for the second time, at the age of 78.
Oh, what an unexpected delight, Uncle Joe. Getting married again to an American who looks younger than me. Oh, Sarah, you're such a charmer. Who you've known for 2 months?
When you know, you know.
This sweetie proposed to me at the top of the London Eye. He even got down on one knee.
Of course, I had dithers to help me up again. My knees aren't what they used to be.
It was the biggest diamond I'd ever seen. What could a lady do but say yes? We then had dinner to celebrate overlooking the Thames. It was the most romantic evening of my life. I'd always wished an English prince would come and sweep me off my feet. I can't wait to be Mrs. Paderewski.
It's just as well that you're all here. Now that all my guests are finally assembled, I may as well explain the reason I'm invited all here. Although I'm aware none of us are particularly close, the 4 of you are the closest things I have to family. It is therefore that I wanted you present when I introduced Liberty Bell to the family.
I see. When are the nuptials planned?
This weekend. At my age, I have little interest in delaying things any longer than I need to. If you hadn't paid me this visit, I very much doubt we would have seen each other again. All the more reason I'm grateful to Liberty Bell for giving me the reason to organize this little reunion. Without it, the next time you would have heard from me would have been via my solicitor, telling you you had inherited my entire estate and fortune. Oh dear. My doctors told me that too much laughing is bad for my health. And I want to make sure that I get as many years as possible with Belle.
Oh, you will, Toodlekins. Just as long as you stay on that diet my nutritionist recommended.
You'll excuse me, Uncle Joe. I'm feeling sick.
Is everything all right in there? sure you wouldn't like any tea?
I'm alright, thanks, Dithers.
Let me assure you that this incident will not be repeated.
Oh, it's not their fault. I just get a little nauseous from time to time is all. I'll be alright in a few minutes.
Would you mind terribly if I came in?
I'd really rather you didn't. I said I'd really rather you didn't.
I'm wise to your little things on there.
What do you mean?
You act your part very well, but I know who you really are.
See here, Mrs. Danvers.
That's Mrs. Danvers to you.
See here, Mrs. Danvers to you. I only came here to see my beloved Uncle Joe.
Your beloved Uncle Joe, who you love so much. Well, tell me this. If you care so deeply for him, then where have you been for the last 10 years?
In America, it's hardly easy to come and visit as often as I'd like.
Well, let me tell you where I've been for the last 10 years. By your beloved uncle's side, serving him faithfully as his housekeeper. This mansion and I belong to each other. So don't think for a moment that I will let it fall into the hands of some scrounging gold diggers.
What do you mean by that?
You may be Joe Paderewski's great niece in name, but you certainly don't act it.
Are you okay in there, sweetie?
Yes, we are perfectly all right.
See here now, Mrs. Danvers. We don't mean any harm.
What are you even doing here?
I heard a loud scream, so I came.
Not in this house, not in this country. Not in this washing closet, in this house, in this country.
Anything else to say? Sure. Last chance. Nothing else. Positive. Okay. So I'm getting from this look that you're giving me right now. Do you want to kill us? Maybe? Yeah.
Geez, when you welcomed us here, I thought you actually meant it. I guess now it's just a pack of lies.
Believe me, there's more to me than what meets the eye.
What's that supposed to mean?
You don't want to make an end of this. If you dare worm any farther into your uncle's affections, I'll have no choice but to do something I regret.
This place is giving me the creeps. I just want to go home, Sam.
Not long now, and we'll have everything.
Admiral Benbow. This must be the place. You, bartender.
What?
Have there been... Oh, we're here in a top secret official duty. Have there been any unusual characters in this bar recently?
Unusual characters? Over there. I've been trying to get them to shove off, but they just won't leave. They don't listen.
Excuse me, did you say on top secret official duty?
No. You must have just heard me, civilian. We're just tourists. Isn't that right, Agent? Normal person, Beverly?
That's right, normal person friend. Say, isn't this a quaint English village? Piece of paper?
Indeed, we should.
Oh, never mind then. But if you're looking for local stories, I might have one or two for you. I've been working at some around here at the old Paderewski place for years.
and I've seen many things. Strange things, terrible things, things you wouldn't believe.
Please don't start this again. I've all heard your stories too many times.
How interesting. Tell us more. Mysterious noises in the dead of night, comings and goings. I think the place hasn't been the same since Mrs. Paderewski died.
Mrs. Paderewski? Constable told us Mr. Paderewski lived alone.
It's been many years since Mrs. Paderewski died. Drowned, they say, in the lake of the back of the old Paderewski place. But you see all of that here? He knows the truth. Joe Paderewski killed her, and the manor's been haunted by her ever since. Someone told about the old Paderewski place. As a matter of fact, we were. Why would you do such a thing? Don't talk about it. Don't even think about it. It's evil. Evil, I tell you.
Now that's enough out of people then. We're going here with the old groundskeeper Paderewski Manor before my husband took over, and he hasn't been the same since.
Whatever you do, don't go to the old Paderewski place. Bacon? Bacon.
Lost orders! Lost orders!
We're summoned by an husband, a nice stiff espresso.
I'm glad that's your sixth espresso this evening. You'll be up all night.
Bartender, please give these men one more round of drinks on us.
Oh, sure, but I've only got iced tea with no sugar and grapefruit juice. Like some gold for that? No, Jim. You can come back now.
Cheers! Bartender.
Give that to Pete. Give that to Peter.
Here you go, sir. Thank you. But if you take my advice, if you know what's good for you, don't go to the old Paderewski place.
Sounds to me like we should go to the old Paderewski place.
What? Are you kidding me? This man told us to go to the old Paderewski place about 5 times.
Or just exactly why the old Paderewski place should be our next stop. There's clearly a good reason why they told us not to go.
Seriously, think of this.
It's getting late. Besides, the snow's too heavy to venture outside of town. By tomorrow afternoon, we should be able to go to the old Paderewski place in no time. Beverly, this is going to be the rest of our career.
Where's the blasted light switch? I thought I told Dithers to leave the bathroom light on. Oh, it's you! What are you doing up so late? Could you help me find the... Wait, what are you doing? Let go of me!
Fluffy Dumpling? Is that you? I heard a terrible rumpus, and Liberty Bell, what in blazes is happening out here?
Joe's had an accident.
What's the big idea making all this noise in the middle of the night? Can't you Brits find your own way to the bathroom? Whoa, we found ourselves a stiff!
Oh Lord, I will tell you again.
What's happened? He must have fallen downstairs in the dark and broken his neck. No, my poor girl, damn it! No, live! I don't understand. Joe has lived here his entire life. He often took nocturnal strolls in his advanced years. How could this have happened?
All it takes is one false step, I suppose.
Has someone called the cops?
You'll have to try the landline. There's no signal. My mysterious death album isn't uploaded. The landlines went down early today. It must have been that storm that's done it.
Well, I can't stay here a minute longer. I'm going into town straight away.
Snow appears too heavy for us to venture into. We shall have to wait until morning.
Until morning? But that's so long. Uncle Joe's dead. He's dead.
Fleeing into a storm in the middle of the night will do him no good now, and it may well kill you.
You would be respectful to the deceased to leave the body somewhere more dignified.
I shall convey the body to the mausoleum. It's what Joe would have wanted.
So what if the police want to investigate the scene?
I hardly imagine that will be necessary.
Well, what if this was an accident? What if Uncle Joe was pushed? Hashtag betrayal.
Lock the door. I don't want Dithers, Liberty Bell, or any of those other creepy guests listening in tonight. I don't know what we've got ourselves into, Sam, but we need to get out. I'd rather deal with this than 1,000 FBI agents.
Try and stay calm, Sarah. Don't lose your head over this.
My head? I'm the only one in this partnership who's got one. Without me, you'd be rotting in a jail cell in America. Don't you forget that.
Joe's death could have been an unfortunate accident for all we know. There's no reason to suspect foul play.
No reason at all, except for his vast fortune. Those other creepy, distant relatives that he somehow dug up from somewhere. It looks like I wasn't the only one thinking that I could win that fortune. Any one of them could have thought the same thing that I did. That if Joe had the chance to marry Liberty Bell, then they would have lost their chance at winning that fortune. What if one of them murdered Uncle Joe?
There's no reason staying here any longer than we need to. We'll leave tomorrow morning as soon as the snow clears.
Tomorrow may be too late. If someone in this house is capable of murder, we could be next.
Sarah,
Yes?
are you sure it wasn't you?
Of course it wasn't me. How could you ever say such a thing like that? I would never stoop so low as to murder an innocent old man. I know we've done some bad things, Sam, but nothing like that would ever cross my mind.
Well, you didn't exactly hide how you felt when Joe said he had a fiance.
What do you mean?
I mean, you looked like someone had puked in your cornflakes.
And for a good reason. How dare that good-for-nothing gold-digging American show up and try and steal my rightful inheritance?
You mean your wrongful inheritance?
Whose side are you on, wise guy?
Perhaps we should count our blessings. Don't forget how close we came to being arrested back in the States. If it wasn't for your fake Uncle Joe, we'd have nowhere to run. We'd all be doing time. So be grateful that we still have our freedom.
You call this freedom? Being stuck in this snowstorm in England? At least prison has Wi-Fi.
Sarah, don't start this again. Leave the past behind us.
How can I? When I have to live in exile for the rest of my life? We have the perfect con. The gourmet cake store had no idea we were lifting their best produce. And then you got hungry.
Gee, I said I was sorry. I can never resist a good piece of fudge.
It started with fudge, and then it moved on to the lemon pie.
What was I supposed to do? Buy one? You know how much that place was charging.
And now we have to live in exile for the rest of our lives, all because you got rumbly fudge. Did you have to get hungry? Did you really? No? Yes?
Sorry, I couldn't lie about it. Those FBI agents, they had me locked into a lie detector.
Yeah, but you could have stopped them. I mean, seriously, you didn't have to be so hungry. That rumbly tummy is going to kill you. Not again. I can't deal with this anymore. Whoever's out there, leave us alone.
Now it's time to take your meds.
Well, girls, let me just tell you, you guys have been doing a great job. Maybe next week we'll even go a little harder. Get to that waka phase, you know? Is that good? Alright, I'll see you. Catch you later. Bye, Walking Flower.
Harriet, you want some candy? They're pear drops, your favorite. This hazel bread is trying to give me a pill to death.
Greta! Why are you always these are not either for you? I am not rescuing you from the roof again! Why do you make my job so difficult? Take your pills, all of them! You take it long? Take your pills! Alright, that's right there. We're going late already. Right there, go!
So this is it. Sunset Meadows Curve.
On the surface, a charming and pleasant rural community for the elderly. But think a little deeper, and who knows what we'll find.
What do you know what we're doing here? We're here to catch the primos players. Those FBI agents think are so smart. Fast and sunglasses. But this is our tool. If there's something going on around here, we'll be the ones to find out what. Damn before I'm getting pitched and poked by some gang over this one. Hello there, officers. Is there something I can help you with today? Yes, there is, nurse. Javier. Have there been any recent unusual goings-on, Miss Cahay? Not that I can think of. Except for that mysterious disappearance. That was a few years ago now. Mysterious disappearance? Why haven't we heard of this? We did. I remember it now. We had a call from one of the nurses saying that one of their residents had disappeared overnight. Disappeared? She was there in the evening. The next morning, just an empty bed. That could have been significant. Why have I never heard of this?
You still away on compassionate leave, following the apple pie incident. Oh. Sorry, boss.
Thank you, It amounted to nothing in the end. We got a call the very next day saying there's nothing to worry about. Rose's brother had simply come to take her home. Home, eh? And what was home for Rose? Rose Paderewski was her name. She was Joe Paderewski's sister. Isn't the old Paderewski place just out of town? The old Paderewski place! This is a coincidence we simply can't ignore. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Rob?
I was thinking, are you thinking what I'm thinking? So if that's what you're thinking, then I am thinking what you were thinking.
Perfect! I was thinking the exact same thing. I think. How this old woman checked herself out in the middle of the night without attracting attention. Which can only mean one thing. Either Rose had some sort of help, or she did it. Genius! But to narrow down the list of possibilities, a little further investigation shall be required. Recognize this notebook, Robbie? No, should I? Let me make this simple for you. This looks, to all intents and purposes, like a pretty unremarkable notebook. Does it not?
Yes, Bobby Bob.
But what if I were to tell you that this notebook was placed on the table directly after Rose's disappearance? I'd say you're a genius. And you'd be right. You see, the three of us only set foot in this care home for the first time 8 minutes and 13 seconds ago, which, given that Rose is supposed to have disappeared from here some years ago, means we can't possibly have entered before the unfortunate disappearance. Agreed? Agreed. Given that I myself placed this notebook on this table, what other conclusions can we draw? That Rose was kidnapped! No, think rationally. The fact that I myself placed this notebook on this table leads me to the inexorable conclusion that you should recognize this notebook. For you see, this is my notebook. Given that this is my notebook where I write all my hunches and theories pertaining to my case, it stands to reason that I'll have written the most likely explanation for Rose's disappearance in notebook. All that remains now is to open the notebook. And what have we here? Here in handwriting I immediately recognize as my own beneath the date 11/01/14.
That's today's date.
And so it is, Rob. It reads, Rose is probably kidnapped. Rob, Rose is probably kidnapped. How do you feel about this?
She's related to Joe Paderewski, so I don't really care.
Good for you. We have no choice.
The situation is more serious than any of us could have imagined.
So it is, Rob. We have no choice but to set off for the old Paderewski place straight away. But what about the storm? We'll just have to brave the elements. The clock is against us. Get moving.
I can't believe this. My poor little struggle beat. Dad! Fetch me my smelling salts.
Madam, we've already used all of your smelling salts, and with the storm falling so heavily, we can't go and get any more.
Then fetch me my regular salt. I can't bear this for a moment longer.
Joe's death is weighing heavily on all of us, madam.
If Darby is right, then Joe's death couldn't have been an accident. Did any of you do it?
Sorry, what's happening? I was busy tagging one of my British adventures album.
But it's the strangest thing. When I was talking my little cuddle cabin into bed last night, he said the strangest things to me. He said, Liberty Bell, I love you with all my heart. Of course, that wasn't the weird part. He said that to me all the time. Then he pulled this out from underneath his pillow. It's a will, renaming me as his sole heir. Why would he do this? Just days before our wedding. What if he suspected something?
This is unbelievable.
But it's true. He wanted me to get everything. His manor and his fortune belonged to me. But that's no consolation for losing what I really wanted. Joe!
Note to self. Liberty Bell knew that she would be the one to inherit Joe's fortune. Maybe she killed her fiancé.
What did you just say?
Note to self. Only make notes to self in private.
Joe must have been murdered. So, again, did anyone do it?
Terrible thought. I could never do anything like that. Hashtag innocent until proven guilty.
Well, there is one person whose house has an alibi. A person who must have known that Uncle Joe had been awake. A person who must have killed him.
Who?
Why, Uncle Joe, of course.
Darby, you do realize that Uncle Joe's the one who's been murdered, right?
What? He's been murdered? How very convenient.
Perhaps it wasn't someone living in this house. Perhaps it was something else. We couldn't have been the only ones that know there's something strange about this house. The moving statues, and voices in the middle of the night.
Ask anyone in Little Salisbury, and they'll tell you this place is haunted. But let me assure you, that is nothing but foolish superstition.
We're not going crazy.
Well, I've seen strange things too, but I thought they were my own personal demons come back to haunt me. You see, Joe made a mistake. I haven't been honest with you, but I'm a soft at heart, you see.
Hashtag twinning. I'm a hacker. My cover had been blown when Joe's letter arrived. It was like a miracle, but it was nothing of the kind. We were set up.
We're all criminals? Then why did you bring us here?
To protect us.
He didn't want to protect us. And something is trying to destroy us. Someone or something.
Wait a minute. Where's the Countess?
You never came to breakfast.
I didn't want to disturb her after the long night we had all been through. I shall fetch her immediately.
Well, I can't stand this for a second longer. I don't care how cold it is outside. It must be better than this.
Don't do it, Sarah!
I never reached the Countess's room. Look what I found on the landing.
It's Carla's phone. She'd never go anywhere without this. Look, she left open her Instagram feed. British Adventures, Part 2.
Hashtag empty corridor selfie.
Hashtag photobomb by a quick figure.
Hashtag running for my life selfie.
Hashtag alone and afraid.
Hashtag get with me, a robot creature.
There's one more photo in this album, but it's completely black.
I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for all of this.
I'm not taking any chances. I'm gonna go find Sarah.
We better turn back before the snow buries us.
Paderewski Manor can't be much far now.
Look, there's someone approaching.
Civilian, what are you doing?
I'm just out walking my dog.
It's dangerous to be out in a storm like this. You should return home immediately.
Oh, it's just solid sunshine. The ice vines wouldn't grow without it.
We're looking for Joe Paderewski's man.
Nah, you're not the only ones.
Do you know the way?
Well, just follow these tracks, and you'll get there in
Freeze, civilians! I'm freezing out the storm may have stopped, but the snow is coming in. Is that you? Me, the whole of Little Salt Gardens Police Department. Yes.
You and your team need to step down. Security clearance is high enough.
Oh yeah? Well, you won't be able to get very far without our help. We have information vital to cracking this case.
You know, Joe Paderewski has a sister, and she's living right here in this house. Thank you for your input, but please step down.
We're not letting you claim the credit for this. You better let us come along, or else.
Or what, Constable?
Or else I'll hit you with my truncheon.
Very funny. I'm not afraid of you. I'm an FBI agent. I have 6 weapons more deadly than a truncheon lodged up my left nostril alone.
Oh, I see. Well, watch for it! Boss, what did you just do? Well, I told you. It's a pretty effective weapon if you know how to use one.
Don't worry. The effects will wear off in about 36 hours.
Boss, what's that? There right in that tree. Where? I didn't see anything.
Oh yeah, just near the door. It looks familiar. Is that?
It can't be. It is. The apple pie. Oh, we never should have come here. Oh, I told you, boys. This place is evil, I tell you. Evil!
It looks like the 3 of us are going to have to set aside our differences if we want to crack this case. Agreed?
Fine. Agreed. Follow me. Shouldn't we do something about? Oh, that'll be fine.
Sarah? Sarah? Sarah, is that you? You! Lily? She died a long time ago, drowned in the lake.
That's what Joe told everybody. The truth is, he locked me up in an old people's home and tried to forget I existed. He said I was his sister, Rose, but I still had some wits about me. I started talking to the nurses there, telling them who I really was. So he brought me back, where I couldn't, and locked me up in the manor where I couldn't cause any trouble.
I knew there was something wrong about this setup.
And now, he's trying to marry that American girl, Liberty Bell. I just couldn't allow it to happen.
So you killed Joe?
Me? Kill Joe? I would if I had the chance.
Then who killed him?
Oh, you poor fool.
What?
See for yourself.
Sam, mausoleum's empty. Joe's gone.
Don't worry. I haven't gone far.
What are you, a ghost?
I'm not a ghost. But I'm afraid I'm also not your beloved Uncle Joe.
Tell me who you are or I'll shoot.
Not so fast.
It pains me to inform you that we may have led you astray about both my untimely death and my identity. You see, I am not your Uncle Joe at all. I'm merely his humble manservant, Dither.
You mean you were all in on it?
I wasn't in on it. I thought you loved me.
Your love, his love for you, was no more a lie than your love for him. I knew what game you were playing the moment I met you, which is why I led you to believe it was my butler with wealth.
You mean you were gonna let me marry the hell?
Yes, Dithers has played his part well. But now it's time for our little show to come to an end, and for me to reveal the real reason I gathered you all here. It was so I could choose the heir to my fortune. I had to find someone worthy of inheriting my vast criminal empire, which is why I scoured the globe for the most cunning con artists and criminals. I switched identities with my butler, so that I could fake my own death and observe which among you was smart enough to see through my little game. I'm sorry to say you all failed.
I told you this would be a futile exercise, Mr. Paderewski.
You did, Dithers, and I should have listened to you from the start. Family really does mean nothing.
Not so fast!
You're under arrest for multiple accounts. Fraud, treachery, and all-around mess.
That's right. We know who you are, the Primrose Players.
Who are the Primrose Players?
They are the most dangerous criminals in all of the Western Hemisphere, but surely you would know that.
Oh, look. The FBI. I was beginning to wonder when you'd show up.
We've been tracing these Primrose players. Well, a few years ago we lost them, and now we found them. Hiding in the woods.
Now drop your weapons.
Not so fast.
Do you really think the Primrose Players would allow themselves to get arrested by the FBI that easily?
We've been guarding this house 24/7, protecting it from the likes of you.
In your haste to capture the two of us, you've missed the real prize. This pair of criminals are the culprits of the great bakery theft of 2014.
You mean you stole the fudge?
The $47 lemon pie, too.
Monsters! I was hungry!
Told you to control yourself.
And if you venture inside, I'm sure you will find a pirate hacker, and an identity thief currently masquerading as the Countess Knopf.
Don't think we'll let you off the hook that easily. You stole the apple pie.
Give it up. By the time you're free, we'll be long gone. And this time, there'll be no trace.
Now that's settled, I've made a decision. Dithers, as the only one who has stood by me all these years, it is you who will inherit my fortune.
You mean he's still rich?
I mean, Dingleberry, we did us something special.
Nice try, Gold Digger. I'm honored, old friend. We really do make a great team.
Yes, our perfect synchronization has only one explanation. The Primrose players were just meant to be.
Not so fast!
Didn't you ever think it was strange how your house was full of people dressed in black and moving your furniture around?
Now that you mention it, I did find it a little odd.
Truth is, we've been staking out this place for years. The show's over, hands in the air, roll them. Good, nice and easy now. Don't anybody try to be a hero. Now get in a straight line. You heard me moving, single file.